When the government shutdown hit, most Americans were worried about paychecks, bills, groceries, and the ordinary machinery of daily life grinding to a halt. But far away from the cameras, far from the noise of the political chaos, a different kind of machinery stopped, one designed to keep secrets buried deep. And when it stopped, the locks loosened, the surveillance paused, and a vault sealed for decades quietly slipped out of the government's grip. That vault contained evidence, real, physical evidence, of something the public had only joked about: Bigfoot. The shutdown had stretched into the night, and inside a forgotten federal research facility in northern Washington, a dim red light pulsed over an automated steel door, signaling, "System offline." The corridors beyond fell eerily silent. No humming servers, no buzzing fluorescent lights, just the distant groan of an old ventilation system trying to stay alive on backup power. Eli Turner, a maintenance contractor on a temporary federal contract, had been one of the unlucky ones called in earlier that day to secure equipment before the facility closed down. He had no security clearance, no reason to be anywhere near the restricted levels. But after 12 hours on shift, the supervisors had already left, the operations desk was empty, and he had wandered deeper than he realized while looking for a place to store sealed crates. He pushed open a heavy metal door and stepped into a hallway he didn't recognize. Everything felt different here, colder, sterile, like an underground morgue. Faded labels stood out on the walls: Biostorage A, Anomaly Lab, Quarantine Archive. He assumed it was old signage never removed. Government places were full of this kind of forgotten nonsense. But then he reached the vault. It looked like a bank safe fused with a bunker door, thick, overbuilt, humming with dormant energy. The red light above it flickered weakly. A strip of digital text blinked: "Access error. Override disabled." Eli shouldn't have been able to get this far without someone stopping him. But the government was shut down, and the facility was half abandoned for the night. His radio crackled. "Turner, you still down there? We're locking up level 3. He pressed the button. "Copy that. Just finishing up a storage check. Get topside. Power's dropping. Backup won't last." Static swallowed the response. Eli tightened his grip on his flashlight and glanced back at the vault as the faintest metallic click came from inside, as if something shifted in the dark beyond the door. The rational part of his mind told him it was settling, just cooling metal contracting. But the sound didn't match metal. It was too alive. A second, heavier thud echoed. He stepped back. The floor vibrated subtly, like a slow heartbeat pounding against concrete. Eli turned to leave, and then froze. Someone had come down the hallway behind him. A tall man in a black uniform with no visible insignia. His expression was cold, eyes sharp, assessing. "You're not authorized to be here," the man said calmly. Eli's throat tightened. "Sorry, I was just looking for..." The lights flickered violently, plunging the hall into darkness before the backup lamp sputtered on with a sickly yellow glow. The heartbeat-like thumping inside the vault grew louder. The man's eyes snapped toward the vault. "Damn it, the fail-safes are offline." He grabbed Eli by the arm, the grip firm but not cruel. "Listen to me. You leave this corridor and forget you were ever here. Understand? What's in there?" Eli asked before he could stop himself. "Nothing you want to know about." But people didn't call something nothing with a tone of pure fear. A deep, guttural growl reverberated from behind the vault door. The kind of sound you feel inside your bones. The kind of sound no machinery ever made. The man flinched. "Move." Another thud. Then another. The vault door jumped in its frame. Something was hitting it from the inside. "I thought this place stored old research equipment," Eli whispered. The man stepped in front of him, blocking his view. "This facility stores what the public is not ready to believe." The vault strained again. Bolts screeched. The metal bent outward for the briefest second, like something massive pressed its weight against it. "What is that?" Eli demanded, voice cracking. "Classified," the man snapped. Then, quieter, and contained. "Usually." Suddenly the hallway lights surged back on, bright white, too bright, and then died completely as the entire building went dark. Somewhere above them, a siren choked mid-blare. The vault groaned. The man swore under his breath. "The lockdown isn't re-engaging. The system's dead." In the darkness, Eli heard the vault's massive wheel begin to spin. Not slowly, not hesitantly, but violently, like something inside wasn't just pushing. It was escaping. The man shoved Eli toward the exit corridor. "Move now." But Eli's legs barely responded, terror rooting him where he stood. He wanted to run, to scream, to pretend this was some nightmarish prank, but then the vault door snapped open with a deafening metallic crack that shook the walls. A blast of icy air surged out, carrying with it a smell of damp earth, musk, and something else, something wild, primal, ancient. The emergency backup lights flickered on again, and Eli saw a shape in the doorway. Massive, hunched, covered in coarse, dark fur. Eyes glowing in the dim light, hot amber, intelligent and furious. The creature stepped forward, the overhead lights glinting off thick hair matted with dirt and something darker. Its shoulders nearly brushed the reinforced frame of the vault. Its breath steamed in the cold air. Bigfoot wasn't a myth. It wasn't a joke. It wasn't a campfire story. It was standing 10 feet away, and it was free. The uniformed man drew a weapon so advanced Eli had no reference point for it, sleek, silent, humming with contained energy. But the creature moved faster. It lunged. The man barely fired. A blinding pulse shot across the hall, grazing the creature's shoulder and sending a ripple of blue-white sparks. It roared, a thunderous, guttural sound that shook Eli's teeth. Then the man disappeared beneath a blur of fur and claws. Eli stumbled backward, tripping over a metal grate. His flashlight skittered across the floor, spinning beams of white light crazily across the walls. The facility alarms tried to restart, faint distant beeps, dying whines, then failed again. For a moment, Eli lay paralyzed, staring at the monstrous silhouette crouched over the uniformed man. The creature wasn't killing him, it was assessing him, sniffing at him like a predator determining whether the prey was worth the effort. Then its head snapped toward Eli. Their eyes met. A cold instinct ripped through him. Run! He scrambled to his feet and sprinted toward the exit corridor. Behind him, the creature roared again, the echo so powerful he felt it push him down the hallway. He rounded a corner and slammed into a wall, dizzy with fear, but he kept moving. Emergency signs glowed faintly in the dark. Exit, stairs, level 3. He shoved through a door into a stairwell, panting, heart pounding so hard it felt like his ribs might break. Above him, through layer after layer of concrete, he heard thundering footsteps climbing upward. The creature wasn't trapped anymore. And the facility was no longer powered, armed, or locked down. The shutdown had disabled everything designed to contain it. Stumbling up the stairs, Eli realized, with icy clarity, that whatever this thing was, whatever the government had been hiding, it was never meant to see the outside world again. And now it was heading straight for the surface. Straight for the forests of Washington. Straight for people who had no idea a nightmare had been sleeping under their feet for decades. When Eli burst onto the upper level, emergency lights flickering overhead, he saw agents rushing toward deeper corridors, weapons drawn, shouting orders. None of them looked confident. None looked in control. They were scrambling. The creature roared again from the stairwell behind him. Eli didn't wait. He bolted through the final exit door, out into the freezing night air, where the shutdown had rendered all top-level security inert. No fences electrified. No automated gates locked. No perimeter sensors watching. Just darkness. And a government secret loose in the woods. The moonlight cast long shadows across the towering pines as Eli stumbled onto the forest trail leading away from the hidden facility. Behind him, a distant howl, deep, resonant, impossible, echoed through the trees. The kind of sound that didn't belong to any known animal. The kind of sound legends were born from. And Eli Turner, shaking and breathless, realized the legends had been real all along. The shutdown wasn't just a political crisis. It was the night the biggest secret in American history slipped out from behind a broken vault door and vanished into the wilderness. And the government had no idea how to get it back.